For 58 years, the men and women of ARCA have embraced their role as race car drivers. Short track, super speedways, and road courses. And 1.5-mile lightning-quick state-of-the-art racetracks like Chicagoland. For the past 10 years, the Automobile Racing Club of America has brought its brand of rough and tumble racing to the Windy City. The Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150, ready to get underway right now on Speed. Welcome to Joliet, Illinois, in the suburbs of Chicago. And tonight, the ARCA Racing Series rumbles into the Windy City for the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150 at Chicagoland Speedway. Earlier today, well, let me just tell you, it's been a long day for all of us. Lightning, strong storms in the area. The ARCA Racing Series did qualify, but then this came in, and that postponed the race from about late afternoon until right now. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Diller. Alongside of me in the booth tonight, NASCAR veteran Ken Schrader, also a 15-time winner in the ARCA Racing Series. Now, Ken, it's been a long day. They were supposed to run in the heat of the day, but it's cooled off almost 20 degrees. So what's it going to be like for these teams, the drivers, and the cars in this race tonight?
It's going to be wonderful for the drivers. That part of the team be wonderful. Nice and cool in those cars versus the heat of the day, and a lot of grip on the racetrack. It's going to be very aggravating for the crew chiefs to continually make adjustments on the chassis because they were set up to run in the heat of the day.
And speaking of the heat of the day, qualifying was right smack dab in the middle of the heat of the day here at Chicagoland. And that car right there, the Veterini Motorsports number 25, driven by Josh Richards, is your pole sitter. The Menards Pole Award presented by Ansel for the World of Outlaws Dirt Late Model Champion. Jim Tradio has more on Josh Richards.
And Bob, Josh is used to running up front with those dirt late models, but here tonight, for the first time in his ARCA Racing Series career, he'll lead the field to the green flag. Venturini Motorsports, here is a Chicago-based team with Josh Richards behind the wheel on the pole. Josh, any more pressure for you for Billy Venturini to win in his hometown, or pressure on yourself to perform well?
There's always pressure to win, as a racer. It's just what you want to do. But, these guys have gave me an awesome race car right off the truck. And I was a little nervous for qualifying because I didn't mock up very well yesterday. But, the car was there in qualifying. We qualified really well. The track's going to be a lot different here with, being under the lights and everything. So hopefully we all made the right adjustments here. We'll see what we got for the start of the race. And more importantly, just go out and get some good laps and try to get a good finish.
And there is no coincidence that Josh Richards here at a mile and a half. He begins his truck career with Kyle Busch Motorsports at the mile and a half in Kentucky next month. Now let's go down pit road to my broadcast partner on pit road, Rob Klepper.
And Jim, your current ARCA Racing Series points leader, 19-year-old Ty Dillon, coming into Chicagoland. 2 wins on the year in just 5 starts. Chicagoland has been pretty good to you. You were 5th quick in qualifying. How do we like this car here tonight?
It's really good. I missed all the practice last couple of days. I've been graduating high school. It's been a couple of exciting days here in a row, and just excited to finally get out here on the racetrack and make a lot of laps. And I know we got a really good race car to go that fast with me to get my first laps out here. So I'm excited to get going. This RCR Chevy's really fast. We got some really good ECR engine in it, and just excited to get going and see what happens.
Guys, so far in ARCA competition, Ty Dillon has 8 career starts, 4 career wins, one of which came at Kansas Speedway, which is very similar to Chicagoland.
Well, Rob, all eyes tonight on that man leading the ARCA Racing Series points at just 18 years old. But there are a lot of guys like Frank Kimmel coming to hunt him down here tonight at Chicagoland. 100 laps worth of side-by-side racing action going to be on Speed here tonight. A beautiful night for racing tonight here at Chicagoland Speedway, the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150 for the ARCA Racing Series. Let's go right to the starting grid and see where your favorite driver is starting here tonight. Check out that at the top of your screen with Josh Richards on the pole and Tim George Jr. on the outside of the front row.
Very strong front row. We have a Venturini car and an RCR car. Josh Richards preparing to move into Kyle Busch's truck for some races later in the year, and he's using this as a good test session.
This racetrack, a pretty tough racetrack, 1.5 miles in length. You have 18-degree banking, so your car sticks pretty good on this racetrack.
It sticks good. The track, you can run all over it from the bottom to the top, and there's not one straightaway on this thing. There's places that look like they're straight, but you wind up arcing them all the time. The back straightaway is not even straight. It's one very gradual turn.
150 miles is the distance here tonight. That'll be 100 laps for the ARCA Racing Series. But I think the key here is that pit window. And a lot of teams telling us in the garage area earlier today, 60 to 62 laps. But how many pit stops are we going to see here tonight?
Well, it depends on the way the yellow falls. If you're going to try to break, if you get that lucky yellow and say you run green up until your pit window where you know you can finish it, then you might try to do it with one. But I look for most of them to be two.
Let's take a look at and spotlight some of the drivers in tonight's field. We'll start with Jim Trado.
Starting 19th is a driver with a familiar name to ARCA fans, Brent Breback, 23 years of age, just graduated college. His dad, Bob, and his wife, Shelley, have been involved in ARCA. Matter of fact, they won the 1990 championship. On the box for this team is the crew chief, Mark Gibson, over 300 starts in this series. It's going to be a great night for Brent to try to get his career best finish and off to a great start to hopefully more races as now a college graduate. Rob?
Well, Jim, taking a provisional after having a problem in qualifying earlier today. They had an electrical problem. Chad Hockenbaugh. This kid is very good, coming off his career best finish in ninth at New Jersey Motorsports Park. He is very confident in this race car, and he thinks, though he's starting deep, today could be his day here at Chicagoland. Guys?
I'll tell you what, I really like to look at Andrew Ranger here in the 53 car. Fresh off the most recent ARCA race. He won it at New Jersey Motorsports Park on the road course. A two-time NASCAR Canadian champion. I just think we're going to see him around up towards the front later on this evening.
Andrew Ranger last year in NASCAR competition competed in both the K&M Pro Series East and West and won a race in each of those series on the road course. So definitely keep an eye on that car here tonight. But I'll tell you what, right now, Schrader, everybody is talking about that 18-year-old Ty Dillon.
Oh, Ty's been very, very impressive. To come in here and be starting this race in fifth after not making one practice lap. Just climbed in it today when the track didn't have a lot of grip because it was so hot. Climbed in that thing and qualified fifth. All pumped up, straight off out of high school graduation. That's killing me, high school graduation. But here we are. He's ready to go.
Venerini Motorsports, 3 of the top 5 qualifying spots here. The other 2 are occupied by Richard Childress Racing. Folks, we are ready to get down to the nitty-gritty here tonight and go for 100 laps. The green flag flies here at Chicagoland, and Josh Richards, Kid Rocket, jumps out to the lead.
Looked like the 31 car might have spun tires, Tim George, there just a little bit because Josh got an extremely good start.
Of course, we qualified, we mentioned earlier today, very hot here at Chicagoland Speedway, 92 degrees it topped out at. Now we're at 72 degrees. That's a 20-degree temperature change for this racetrack and this atmosphere here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, because that outside temperature would have changed the whoa.
Wow. Matt Murrell in that 32 car for Wintron Motorsports, a little bit loose coming off of turn number 4. That allowed the 55 of Hal Martin to sneak by.
Well, luckily he snuck by
yeah.
Instead of trying to occupy the same.
Oh, we got a car on the wall. That's Tim George Jr. in the Richard Childress Racing number 31. And he's got some major damage on that machine after starting on the outside of the front row.
That's a shame. Tim was very fast in practice, qualified for the front row. Be curious to see what happened there because that doesn't sound like, he'd just lose it.
The first caution already here tonight. We're going to take a look at the replay and see what happened to the 31 machine of George. Hard to see. He's already up in the wall at that angle right there, just in front of some of the cars right there, and that was a hard lick.
Very hard lick. Very hard.
Folks, already under caution here at Chicagoland Speedway. Josh Richards is your leader. Kyle Fowler, he's been pretty good in ARCA competition so far this year. He's second place here at Chicagoland. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Burger King, home of the Whopper, and by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Under caution at Chicagoland Speedway, we mentioned the 41 of Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon right now running in the 3rd spot, but he is your leader coming into this race in the ARCA Racing Series point standings. Second place, that 9-time champion Frank Kimmel, but a guy that impresses both you, Schrader, and me is the 4th place runner, Grant Enfinger.
Grant Enfinger has been solid all year. That's a fairly low-dower team. It's owned by Justin Allgaier and his daddy, the whole family. He's doing a phenomenal job.
And we are under our first caution in this race, just 4 laps in. That was for Tim George Jr., who hit the wall very hard, Jim Trado.
And Ty Dillon's teammate is climbing out of the car now, 7th in points. Obvious disappointment. Tim, tell us what happened.
Well, yeah, you know, it was an awesome front row starting position for that Applebee's Potomac Family Dining Chevrolet, and, you know, we did a really good job getting there, but then got out front, the 3rd in line there, and it just got really slick in the middle of 1 and 2, and just lost it. And I thought I clipped the apron, but spotter Will Lynn was saying that it looked like there was something down there, fluid, oil or something, I don't know, from the 6, I'm not sure what. But, you know, really disappointed. Shout out to everyone in the Washington, D.C. area. Hope everyone's grabbing a bite of Applebee's and enjoy the rest of the race. Hopefully my teammate can go win it for us.
Admirable effort for your team. Jerry Kennan and the boys ran back here, crawled underneath this race car, trying to get this car back out. How hard of a lick was it for you?
Well, it was pretty hard. You know, everyone's throwing punches tonight. I feel like I want to punch myself, but you know, it's one of those things where we'll just keep building on the momentum we've had to here. We had a lot of team momentum, and we'll go back next week to Pocono and finish up strong there, hopefully.
Certainly had a car worth winning the race tonight, guys. It was certainly fast in practice and in the early laps.
Tough break for Tim George Jr. with that 31 Richard Childress Racing team under caution 5 laps into this race. Josh Richards is your leader, but I want to take a look at the last 3 races here in the ARCA Racing Series coming into this event. We'll go to the high banks of Salem in the beginning of May. The 25 car there, that's a rookie. First attempt ever at the ARCA Racing Series, and Brennan Poole is in victory lane. A couple weeks after that, the bump and run. Ty Dillon knocks into Frank Kimmel, the king of ARCA. And around goes Kimmel. Kimmel not all too pleased. Ty Dillon wins the race, his 2nd of the year, but take a look at this, Schrader. He throws the checkered flag and has a word with Ty Dillon.
Well, he just had a word. You know, they just talked to him about it, and even, you know, the officials knew that he wasn't going to do anything bad, but you know, that's a little more than a bump and run. That's a spin and win.
And then a couple weeks ago, as you mentioned, a dandy in New Jersey. Take a look at this. That car right there going sideways, that's Andrew Ranger passing George Madecki. And Ranger goes on to win his very first ARCA Racing Series event.
He qualified on the pole, broke an engine, had to go start in the back of the race, came back through, a last lap pass, a phenomenal effort.
All right, we want to go back to that incident there, you know, talking about the Toledo deal between Ty Dillon and also Frank Kimmel. You know, you talked about throwing punches and so forth at that race. What was that like for Frank Kimmel in that event?
Well, I mean, Frank was his sponsored race. It was a Menards 200, and it was right there in Toledo, and he's had a lot of good success there. And he just got moved. I mean, he didn't get moved. He got turned around. I hated it, and he knows that Ty didn't mean to turn him around. Ty meant to move him. Well, Ty's just young and very aggressive, and he just got into him a little bit hard. He did not mean to wreck him, I guarantee you that. But he meant to move him out of the way, and he did just a little shorter an experience to gracefully move him.
Well, Schrader, earlier today at the Chicagoland Speedway, we talked to both the victim and the culprit of that incident.
Ty made a mistake there or whatever, and that was a big race for us. Our car ran really good, and we were up front and had an opportunity to win, you know, and not saying that he couldn't have passed us clean and win the race, but he chose not to do that. So, you know, you just put that back in your memory, and, you know, and hopefully we don't have to deal with that the rest of the year.
He was rightfully upset, which I understand, but we had a really fast car and long runs, and we came to him really quick in that run. And it looked like me, he checked up a little bit, and I didn't have anywhere to go. And 10 laps to go in the race, 10, 15 laps, I don't know how many it was. I wasn't going to give him much because I'm here to win races. I hate it happened. I really looked up to Frank. He's helped me a lot so far this year. And hopefully we can get past it. You know, it's one of those deals, it's racing. And my grandfather told me one thing is to win races and don't take anything from anybody. So, you know, I hate it happened, and he's a great guy. And hopefully we can get past this, but, you know, it just happened. It's racing.
Ty just needs to hope that Frank Kimmel doesn't listen to Ty's godfather or grandfather and not take anything also.
And I tell you what, he talked about his grandfather. His grandfather is Richard Childress, who is one tough cookie in his own right. Let me tell you that. We'll be back with more from the Chicagoland Speedway with the ARCA Racing Series. Kid Rocket, Josh Richards, the 2-time and defending World of Outlaws Dirt Late Model Champion, is your leader here tonight in the ARCA Racing Series at Chicagoland Speedway. In fact, this is the first ever laps he's led in ARCA competition. For more, let's go to Rob Kepler.
Well, Bob Dinner, Josh Richards was just talking to crew chief Billy Venturini, and they are already planning on saving fuel. They're talking about planning ahead. You talked about whether it's going to be a one-stop or a two-stop race. Well, for Kid Rocket, they could already be planning on just doing one stop.
Well, Josh Richards talking about strategy already, and go figure. He's got one of the most innovative crew chiefs on his box, Billy Venturini, and they're already talking about fuel mileage here, Schrader. Is it too soon?
Well, it's awfully early. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. You mentioned as the first laps he's led in our competition. I've known Josh since before he was Kid Rocket, you know, when he was just a kid, you know, and he's going to lead laps in about any series he decides to run in. He's got tremendous talent there.
Kyle Fowler in second spot right now. He's qualified on the outside of the front row at Daytona, Talladega, and now third here today. He runs second in that number 15 car for Venturini Motorsports. We'll go on board right now. That's the 75 car of Benny Chastain. Right now, he is actually in that car getting ready to go. Green flag racing once again. In fact, guess what, folks? Green flag comes out, and Josh Richards leads the field into turn number 1.
They get a pretty good little run there. Both the Venturini cars distance themselves a little bit from third place there. It looks pretty good.
Taking a look at that top duo, and speaking of, Fowler spoke to him today, and honestly, he said, you know what, this is a racetrack I've really been looking forward to, because Daytona and Talladega, you can only do so much. The driver means so much more here at a track like the 1.5-mile Chicagoland Speedway.
Well, he's definitely right. You know, Daytona and Talladega, you got to play that draft, but you don't really pick your lines and on and off the throttle near as much as here. And we see him right now trying to make a move on Josh here, and it looks like it just might work out for him.
You mentioned it's a two-groove racetrack, and Fowler goes to the outside. He's going to take the lead, but Kid Rocket fights back on the inside. Look at that 41 machine right there, lurking behind Ty Dillon. That is a brand new race car they built specifically for ARCA competition in the Richard Childress Racing stables for Ty Dillon.
Well, you know, when your grandpa owns a team and he's won all those championships, you know you're going to have some pretty good stuff. But that's the good thing. All these cars out here in the top 20, 25 are all good cars. But Ty's on top of his game, that's for sure.
The problem for Ty Dillon right now, even though he goes underneath Josh Richards to take that second spot, he's in the middle of a Venturini Motorsports sandwich, because 3 of the top 4 cars right now, as we see Hal Martin go under the 25, Hal Martin's a Venturini car as well.
We got a little problem right here.
Oh, we got trouble on the racetrack. The number 14 of Barry Fitzgerald off the racetrack. He's pulling behind pit wall and to safety right now. A problem for that 14. No caution on the racetrack. He's off the track very safely. So we go back up front, and Kyle Fowler still your leader. And take a look at the advantage he has over second place right now, Ty Dillon.
Well, we're seeing it on the clocks that right now Kyle's just about 3/10 quicker, so he's able to distance himself. Plus, whenever these guys are racing with one another, that slows you down just a little bit. But the last lap, Kyle was the fastest. Ty was the third fastest.
We look at that battle right now between the 32 of Morrell and the 25 of Josh Richards. I spoke to Josh, and he said, you know, it's been a huge transition for him to come from those dirt late models where you're just slinging mud all the time and driving it as hard as you can into one of these big old heavy ARCA stock cars. How difficult, as a dirt tracker like you are, how difficult is that transition?
It's difficult, but Josh is so smooth and he has so much experience that he can make it. Plus, he you know, we ran Josh some in the Camping World East race and stuff, and he's just real smooth and got a lot of talent. And he's watched this race, and it's right there.
The number 82 of Sean Corr underneath for battling for the 12th spot right now. He spins and goes to the grass on the infield.
I like the way that he got in the throttle and kept that car off the outside wall, was able to bring it down towards the grass.
Sean Corr, very impressive actually here today, was moving his way through the field. Let's take a look and see what happened here as he was underneath the number 96 car of we call him Bear Rezanowski.
Well, he did a real good job of initially getting it gathered up. Then he was going to get into Bear, and he turned back left to get off and kept on the throttle to keep it from going up to the outside wall. and just did a real good job. Minimize the damage as much as it can. Going to come on in, put 4 tires in that thing, and he's ready to go try again.
Not even a scratch on that car. Take a look from the RoboCam here right now. He just loses it coming off the corner, heads down to the infield, and gathers that car back up. And that car for Sean will actually be on pit road now, and he'll actually get back out on the racetrack, Jim.
Slight left front damage on Sean Core's number 82 Ford, but that is not the issue. He just lost it by himself. He asked if he should come in. Crew Chief Howard Bixman's a veteran of this deal, was with Ricky Stenhouse when he was running for the ARCA Championship. He's jumped on board and talked this young driver down pit road and trying to get better than their 9th position in the points with a 4-tire change.
Things are a bit antsy here today at Chicagoland Speedway. Already the 2nd caution in this race because of this right here. Sean Core going for the spin off the corner. Tomorrow, get up to speed with Kenny Schrader's favorite show. Join host Adam Alexander as we deliver the hottest stories in Kansas. And there are a lot of them. Don't miss Speed Center NASCAR edition tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Let's go down to pit road and get some updates. Jim Trado.
Race leader Kyle Fowler, just 18 years of age, has crew chief Kevin Caldwell on the box. They finished 2nd last year to Caldwell with this Venturini Motorsports team. Kyle just said the car's a little bit tight. But Kevin Caldwell just told me a moment ago with the ear cup off, he said, our spotter is Chris Rice. He works with Elliott Sadler, and they work the upper groove. So as soon as he's got his different arc in the corner, Chris Rice told him to move up that racetrack. The spotter playing a key role for this young driver. They got faster, and now they're working on just how they can get this next segment to their first pit stop. He said just a bit tight, and Kevin Caldwell very calmly said, we'll get it fixed. Keep on hauling. Rob?
Well, Jim, we talk about Chad McCumbo. He started 13th. He wasn't good in qualifying. He wasn't good in practice here yesterday. They threw the book at this car. They could have stayed here all night to work on it, but we all know the garage shuts down at 6 p.m. Right now, he is free on entry, a little neutral off the corner. They're going to try some different lines. He's passed a couple cars as he quests to get his win here at Chicagoland.
Good work by Rob Klepper and Jim Trado on pit road. Kenny Schrader, Bob Dillner. We're happy to be with you tonight on Speed for the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150 here at Chicagoland Speedway. We're ready for another restart. Right now, Kyle Fowler, just 18 years old, leads this field. Ty Dillon, another 18-year-old in 2nd, and we are green flag racing once again. A good restart by Fowler, but take a look at the battle already brewing for the 3rd spot. Hal Martin right there looking pretty good. Josh Richards and Matt Morrell. Matt Morrell was on the charge before we went under caution there.
Yes, he had joined that front group, and him and Ty had run those cars down and were coming into the picture for sure.
There's the king, Frank Kimmel, in that Menards number 44, the battle for 7th right there. But just in front of them, take a look at this. Josh Richards on the outside of Matt Morrell. You also have the 36 car there, and we spoke about him a little earlier in the show, Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, Grant's been solid all year, and he's right up there now. You know, Grant's used to working on his own cars, and he's a good chassis man, so I think that's got to help him a lot here.
Grant Enfinger, a 2-time winner of the Rattler at South Alabama Speedway in the super late model ranks. But here comes Frank Kimmel. In fact, he's the only driver in the field that has a victory here at Chicagoland Speedway. Right behind them, Tom Hesser in the 52 trying to march his way through the field. And Kenny Schrader, we know you own that race car there, and you haven't been happy with that race car this weekend.
Well, the boys have struggled a little bit with it, but they made wholesale changes before qualifying, and Tom was a lot happier, so we'll just see what happens here.
Chris Boucher in the 17 also in the mix there. And here comes the 58 car. Take a look at this. Fastest in practice yesterday was Chad Hockenbrough, and he is coming through the field with a hurry.
He started at the back of this thing because they had a problem in qualifying. Did not complete a lap, and oh wow, he's plenty fast.
Hockenbrough up from the 30th starting spot, has already broken into the top 10. He runs 9th right now. The funny thing about Hockenbrough actually is he made a big jump. He was a hot shot in the Legends car ranks around the North Carolina and Georgia area and went right to the ARCA Racing Series. This actually is only his 13th start, but he's really learned a lot. And he is getting closer and closer to capturing that top 5 finish that he wants.
That's not a jump we traditionally see. Traditionally we go from the Legends car, quarter midgets to go-karts, whatever, to some type of full-fendered car and quarter miles, 3/8, half-mile tracks. But to go right into the ARCA series, that is pretty huge.
Back to the front of the field right now. Kyle Fowler is your leader. The 41 of Ty Dillon is second. And right now, Fowler has set sail on this field.
He has, but he is not losing second and third place. They're staying pretty close.
Hockenbrough has moved by the 44 of Frank Kimmel, so he continues his march to the front. He's up to the 8th spot right now. That car is on a rail. Oh, I'm hearing there might have been a little contact. Let's take a look right here. Kimmel underneath. Hockenbrough on the move. No contact. Very close, but no contact.
Right. Well, he wanted to, 58 wanted to stay as close to him as can just to side draft there, but that doesn't even count.
I'll tell you what, right now, Rob, that 58 car looking pretty good.
Well, guys, we talked about him at the top of the show, but if you go back 1 week ago, they ripped the fender off that car, unloading it out of the hauler last weekend. Had to work through Memorial Weekend to work on the 58. They had to go test it in Winchester on Wednesday, then got here, and we documented the problems that they had having to take the provisional. He's very confident in this race car. Right now, it's paying off. Hockenbrough's coming to the front.
And I'll tell you what, just a couple of weeks ago at New Jersey Motorsports Park on the road course, he had his best ever ARCA finish in 9th, so a top 10 for him there. And now here he comes on the inside of Chris Buescher.
But, when you talk about your very best finish in a 9th, but you've only run a half a dozen races in full-size stock cars, that's pretty impressive.
Hockenbrough now up to the 7th spot on the back bumper of Grant Enfinger. A big congratulations to the Allgaier family. A big victory for them tonight. Justin Allgaier going to victory lane in the NASCAR Nationwide Series here prior to this event. And of course, Justin, a former champion here in the ARCA Racing Series back in 2008, had a stellar season, and he drove to the victory for the championship in ARCA.
With that team right there, his family-owned team.
And right now, honestly, as we take a look at Hockenbrough trying to go underneath Morrell there, but Enfinger there is running for the Allgaiers. They don't know if they can run the entire season so far. They're taking it race by race.
No, they're very much running this series as economical as you can, trying to stretch their budget throughout the year as far as they can go. And it's definitely a car that, someone needs to look at, come up with some sponsorship on. Just like the 58 car here.
The 58 car may get a sponsor after this race. Hockenbrough up to the 5th spot right now. Kyle Fowler, another Legends car, hot shot from back in the day around the Charlotte Motor Speedway as well as the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He is your leader here. 30 laps of 100 already complete. You heard Jim Trado talk about his crew chief, Kevin Caldwell. He's on top of the box right now, Jim.
And he just talked to his young driver, said, ideally we want to pit in 15 laps. We'd love to go to halfway, but we may not get that chance, but we're prepared for it. And the driver radioed in. The car is now getting just a little bit of a push in that 15 machine for Fowler. Rob?
Well, Ty Dillon right now running in that 2nd spot. And here at Chicagoland, the last 2 years, the winner of this event has gone on to win the championship. So something to keep in mind if Dillon can take the lead and get the win. If history teaches us anything, guys, he can go on to win this title.
All right, thanks, Rob. We appreciate that report. Schrader, I got a question for you, though. We saw 2 very quick cautions to start this race. Now things have kind of settled in a little bit. Are these guys just biding their time, or are they fighting tooth and nail?
Well, I think the ones you see in groups are fighting tooth and nail. A lot of them might be up in the front, might be biding their time. But the ones that are actually around one another and real close, they're working hard for it.
Ty Dillon currently 2nd. That 55 car just behind him. A lot of people thought that 55 car might be the best car out of the Venerini Motorsports stables for this particular race. Hal Martin from Louisiana. And have you ever talked to him? He speaks Cajun.
I haven't had the opportunity yet.
I tell you what, you talk to him, and he is a marketable person, and then he says, let me break into that Cajunese, and he breaks into that, and he's got one sort of dialect that I can't even understand. But right now, Kyle Fowler out in front of this field, 33 of 100 laps complete here at Chicagoland. The battles are a-brewing right now in the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150 here at Chicagoland. Chad McCumbee going by the King Kimmel in that 44 machine. They are battling right around the 8th, 9th, and 10th spot.
It's good battle here. I mean, very good. Looks like everyone's cars so far tonight are handling pretty good, and I think the cooler temperatures probably has a lot to do with that.
I was going to say, you told me earlier with the cooler temperatures, the car just gets that much better. But Chad McCumbee right now really looking good in that #1 machine, and that is one of those teams that you really got to take a look at. They're running the entire schedule. They're going for the championship. And he says, we got good people, we got good equipment right now, but the big thing that we're missing on tracks like this is we see 3 wide there between Grant Enfinger and Frank Kimmel, but Chad McCumbee basically says we're still missing some of that aero on the bodies.
Well, that's very hard to come up with. Very expensive to keep going to the wind tunnel and searching for that. Plus, unless you have that the experience on your team there, you don't know exactly how to build that thing to get what you need.
Tom Hessert runs 10th right now. Enfinger falling back through this field just a little bit. He's in the 9th spot, so Enfinger actually came to the test here a few weeks ago and chose this particular race car. He said it wasn't the fastest race car, but it felt the most comfortable on the racetrack.
Well, I'll tell you what, unfortunately, when these guys are running side by side like this, they're losing a lot of time. Tom made a clean pass there, and that's because we got a yellow out. That's why.
Trouble. Matt Morrell, #4, sparks flying everywhere. He has slammed the turn 4 wall to bring out the 3rd caution in this 100-lap race. Man, that car is pancaked on the right side.
Yeah, I don't see that car going back out tonight.
Wintron Motorsports led by Nate Teesey, Mike Reesop, and Kevin Sawinski, former ASA National Tour competitors, lead that team. A tough break for Matt Morrell. Let's take a look at what happened here in turn #4.
Yeah, this is Bear.
Oh, we see Bear right there. He actually slaps the wall. Not that much damage right there for him, but a lot of damage for Matt Morrell.
Yeah, I think what we saw with Bear there is the car just plain old tightened up. And when these things get up there close to the wall and you don't realize how tight it is, if you don't roll out of it quick enough, you can't keep it off the wall, and I believe that's what happened there.
Resnowicki with that 96 was running in the top 12. Tough break for Matt Morrell. He is done for the day here at Chicagoland. Time for pit stops here. Just 38 laps into this race here for the ARCA Racing Series. Kyle Fowler on pit road. The leaders, almost everybody comes down. Jim Trado, you got a report for us.
Kyle Fowler's coming down pit road, just his 3rd ARCA start of the season. They were on super speedways to start the year. Now this is the first 1.5-mile track. We'll see how Fowler comes down pit road. Pitted about halfway down pit road is his selection. He's coming down now. Kevin Caldwell has called for 4 tires and 2 rounds up on the track bar to help the car a bit from center off on the 15 machine. Hoosier Radio tires getting changed all 4 corners. Sunoco fuel is going in on Fowler. The chassis adjustment has been made. His pit stall across the way is the 55 of Hal Martin. Martin in the 55 machine, also Venturi Motorsports machine, is on pit road, and they are having a little bit of a trouble with the left rear. The fuel is in, a little bit slower on the stop, but he's down and away. Rob?
And guys, your points leader, Ty Dillon, is in the pits. Tight, entering the corner, free in the middle, good off. 4 tires, a full load of Sunoco fuel. Your points leader makes his first green flag pit stop here at Chicagoland.
Under caution for the 3rd time here at Chicagoland. Want to go back to that Ty Dillon pit stop. I saw the team working on the back part of that right front fender, putting some tape on there. I got to wonder what was going on there, if he had any damage or anything.
I saw some tape, or I think they actually call it Barabond. It's like kryptonite tape. it keeps. It just holds everything together, and I don't know why they would have been putting it on.
And that tire right there is not a good sign for Frank Kimmel. That's off the 44 machine, and that will be a penalty here with the ARCA boys. So Frank Kimmel going to be assessed a penalty after that tire rolled out of his pit box and into the grass of the infield.
To think that these guys come down pit road and we clean the windshield or pull a tear off, fill this thing up with racing fuel, change the 4 tires and clean the grill, and they do it in 15 to 17 seconds. And sometimes there's a little problem, and you know, one tire getting away from you and rolling across pit road. Unfortunately, we got penalties for that, but that's a phenomenal job.
Oh, look at this. Kyle Fowler, your early race leader, back on pit road. He had some trouble, the tire changers did, on the right front of that machine. A very slow stop for them, but he comes back down pit road after losing a lot of positions.
And the anxiety level, guys, unfortunately for Kyle Fowler, meant he left pit road, and when he did, he might have done something to the transmission on this concrete pad on pit road. They're taking a look underneath the center of this race car. Kyle radioed in, there's something rattling really bad, guys, bad vibration. They deduced it may be the driveline because he left pit road, and after that, that's when the problem started for our former race leader.
When our pit road crew was reporting down there, I heard one of the cars coming off pit road sounded like John Force, and I don't know if it was Kyle or not, but boy, it's a very easy time to tear up transmission or the rear end on these things.
When they're moving that left rear tire like that, what are they checking there, Schrader?
Well, they're just checking to see when you turn them like that, both of them should lock up, but serious
that
problem.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah, even with my mechanical ability, I know that sound is not good. That's not good.
Definitely not good. Trouble for Kyle Fowler, who looked really good here in the early part of this race. So we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on that. Up front, though, we have a brand new leader. The number 58 car, all the way from 30th starting spot. Chad Hockenbracht is your leader here at Chicagoland. We'll go green when we return here on Speed. Hockenbracht trying to keep his lead over Hal Martin. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day rolls into Kansas, where Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano join us live. And crew chief Steve Letarte, he'll discuss Dale Jr.'s last lap heartbreak last week in Charlotte. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern, live on Speed. During this caution, the Aaron's Lucky Dog belongs to that man right there, the number 35 car driven by Tom Birdie. Birdie, one of the competitors here in the ARCA Racing Series. Right now, he's trying to climb his way back into competition here, but the man that is probably out of competition is now with Jim Trado.
It's going to be left rear axle time, and that's what they're going to start looking at with Kyle Fowler's car behind the wall, guys.
They're going to hope that's what it is, because that'd be the simplest change, except if it is in 2 pieces, they'll pull that outside piece out, and then it's sometimes a challenge to get the inside piece out.
You see Kevin Hilty, we have been working on the left rear of that race car. We are ready to go green flag racing once again, and we can't say enough about Hockenbracht, the number 58, in your lead right now here, almost halfway through this Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150. Right behind him is Hal Martin in that 55, and Andrew Ranger, the guy that Kenny Schrader talked about, in the 3rd spot on this restart.
Andrew's done a good job to get up there already. Just, you know, he's has limited. He's been on some of these tracks in some nationwide series, but he doesn't have a ton of big track oval experience.
Andrew Ranger started 15th here tonight. Here comes Ty Dillon right now. He started 5th, 18 years old, just graduated from high school yesterday in North Carolina. Wasn't here. Didn't get in that race car. Scott Wimmer, as we told you a little earlier on in the show, actually warmed up that car. He came right over here, hopped in the car, a brand new piece, and qualified 5th. Mike Dillon, a former NASCAR Nationwide Series competitor, is his dad. A very proud papa of both of those boys, because the Dillon boys, they're very nice kids, very appreciative of all the coverage and everything that they get. But I'll tell you what, they're darn good race car drivers as well.
They're doing a very good job, and they are excellent kids.
Let's take a look at this right here. Bobby Gerhart is in the number 5 car. Grant Enfinger makes it 3 wide, and man, that was a tight squeeze between Gerhart and that wall here at Chicagoland.
That's when you're really happy there's a third lane up there. and Grant maximized all the width of the track, that's for sure.
Grant Enfinger currently running in the 8th spot, 46 laps into this race. We are nearing halfway, but up front, Hockenbach continues to lead this one, coming from the rear of the field after a mishap in qualifying. And we talked about qualifying, and man, he was hitting the chip like you would not believe in qualifying.
Yeah, I don't he just hit the chip so hard that he thought he had a problem, I believe is what it was. And that's because he was going so much faster than he had went, and he pulled in because he heard that miss and thought there was an engine problem.
First laps led in ARCA competition for Hockenbach. But we want to go back to another battle right now. There is the 12 car. That's Marie-Eve DeVoe. And she is a lady here, 11th in points coming into this particular race. It's her first race on a 1.5-mile racetrack, battling with Bobby Gerhart, one of the kingpins of ARCA.
Yeah, I mean, if she realized what she just accomplished there, I hope she does by passing Gerhart with his outstanding ARCA record. But she's been good and solid all year.
She moves up to the 17th spot right now. DeVoe, I tell you what, she is a pleasure to speak to. She's got a big open wheel background, but she's trying to cut her teeth here in ARCA and the big leagues of stock car racing.
Everything is pretty new for me. A mile and a half. It's going to be challenging. We didn't have the time to come here and test. So, I mean, I want to be out there. I'm a racer, so of course I want to be a good result, and bringing home a top 10 would be great.
And right now, she's also working on a possible ride to run on one of the road course races in the NASCAR Nationwide Series a little later on this year. She wants to go up against Danica Patrick in the Nationwide Series. She says, I think I could take her.
But, it's all just about whether it's a young female driver or a male. It's all about getting laps and getting laps in good equipment to get the experience to move up the ladder.
Here comes Chad McCumbee in that number 1 car, digging hard on the inside of Andrew Ranger, but you have the 17 car of Chris Boucher as well. Boucher, one of those Roush Fenway development drivers, driving for the Rouleau brothers here in ARCA.
Boucher, a former winner in this series.
Boucher made his first ever NASCAR Nationwide Series start, about a month ago or so at Richmond International Raceway. Rob, you got more on the 1 car?
Yeah, the driver from Supply, North Carolina, with the veteran Wayne Carroll on the stand down here in the pits. But Andy Belmont Racing bringing a Roush chassis here at nickname Barney. And Chad McCumbee, it's kind of been up and down season. Started 8th at Daytona, ran 20th at Talladega, but coming off a 3rd place run most recently at New Jersey Motorsports Park on the road course, trying to turn things around here at Chicago.
Chad McCumbee currently 5th in points, and he comes into here and he says, you know what? These big racetracks, I need to try to get a top 10 finish. But when we get later in the year and get back to a Salem or go to a Berlin, that's where that team has to take advantage and try to get on the podium.
Yeah, but their big track races have just continued to get better and better. So, I mean, they've got the right attitude there. And Chad, Chad's run some Sprint Cup races. He's got some experience, and he can help them a lot.
And McCumbee, remember, he's got 2 ARCA wins, both in 2007, so he knows how to get the job done here. He's also had a full-time ride and competed very well in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Yes, he has. He ran extremely good there.
Chris Boucher right now underneath Andrew Ranger in that 53 car. That is a battle to get in the top 5, and right now Boucher is into the top 5. Ranger is out.
Yeah, but when you're in the top 5 and those other 2 are like 50 feet behind you, you don't really have any breathing room yet.
Just past the halfway mark here in this 100-lap race, 150 miles the distance, and Chris Boucher looking pretty good in that 17 machine, and that actually is a newer car for them. It's the first time they're racing that car. They actually got that car from the Roush Fenway stables just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I knew it was a new car that they had brought out, and it's real.
Oh, Sean Corr, same place. Again, he goes around. He was in the 10th spot, running just in front of Frank Kimmel. That car just very loose on the racetrack.
Yeah, they might need to tighten that up this time. when they put their last set of tires on.
I'll tell you what, no damage once again after another spin for Sean Corr, but that 82 machine looks pretty stout with the Roush Yates power underneath the hood here at Chicagoland.
Well, that's definitely part of the problem. He's going a little bit faster than his chassis can accommodate right now.
And I would have thought maybe Kimmel took the air off his spoiler, but not close enough to actually do that on the racetrack.
No, it's just plain old loose.
Sean Corr actually has his car on pit road right now. A good save by him once again. We're going to take a look at this one more time because it's kind of like deja vu all over again for him because he spun earlier in the race to bring out the caution, and he's killing some bugs here at Chicagoland.
Yes, he is. But I'll tell you what, he's done a very good job of getting it gathered up and going straight both times.
56 laps complete. Hockenbrough is your leader here at Chicagoland. A lot of good racing still to come. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Ansel, for 100 years the world leader in hand protection, and by Sunoco, the official fuel of the ARCA Racing Series and fuel provider for 40 other racing series. Glad to have you with us tonight on Speed at Chicagoland. Let's take a look at the first half of this race here for the ARCA Racing Series.
Drivers, start your engine!
That's James Messina from Messina Wildlife Management. The event sponsor here this evening, the green flag flew, and already sparks were flying around the racetrack, and into the wall goes Tim George Jr., an early exit for the guy that started on the outside of the front row. Then Kyle Fowler, just 19 years old, on the move. He goes to the outside of his teammate Josh Richards and takes the lead. But look at this, Sean Corr in the 82, the first of his 2 spins here tonight. That brought out the caution. Chad Hockenbrough has been on the move, started 30th, methodically worked his way through the field, and right now he is your leader. But the early race leader, Kyle Fowler, drivetrain problems for the Venerini Motorsports car. And then Sean Corr once again goes around, kills some bugs here at Chicagoland, but makes another great save. That car is back in competition here during this 100-lap race. Take a look at where your favorite driver is running with our ticker at the top of the screen. But taking a look at the first part of this race, Chad Hockenbrough is your leader right now. 3 lead changes in this race, and right now we're going to tell you that that lady right there in the 12 machine, Mary-Eve DeVoe, she is actually your Aaron's Lucky Dog recipient for this caution period. Back under green flag racing here, Hockenbrough is your leader, and a great jump by that 58 car.
Oh, yes, it was a good jump. I mean, it's pretty amazing how he started in the back after troubles in qualifying and got to the front as quick as he did.
Hal Martin is in the second spot. Chris Boucher, who we followed in that 17 machine, he's on the move as well. He's third. And here comes Chad McCumbee in that 1 machine as well. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people, even in the NASCAR garages, believe Chad McCumbee, he's the real deal if he gets the right opportunity.
He proved it in the truck series, what he's capable of doing. He's bounced around in enough different series now that he's got the experience, and he's doing a very good job with the Indy Belmont team here.
Rounding out the top 5 on the racetrack right now, the 36 machine of Grant Enfinger. He's been in the top 10 all night long here, but look at the battle that is shaping up right now for the lead. Hockenbrough in the 58. Hal Martin, the Cajun, in the 55, trying to pull to his back bumper. Ty Dillon, just want to remind you of that 19-year-old, the guy that just graduated from high school, makes us feel a little bit old here. He's running in the 41 car, running 8th right now after that round of pit stops a couple cautions ago.
Well, he will start pacing himself back up through there, but you know it'll take him a while to get back to the very, very front.
Brand new machine tonight for him. He's actually won 4 of his first 8 starts in the ARCA Racing Series. We'll go down pit road with Rob Klepper.
Well, guys, we saw Ty Dillon here in the pit area, really loose on the racetrack. Air adjustment on the car, 4 tires, and a bottle of Sunoco fuel, and that was his quick pit stop.
And he's climbing through the field once again. His next victim right there, the guy that he ran into at Toledo just a few weeks ago. Frank Kimmel in that 44 machine. Now take a look at this. That 41 car is looking pretty stout, looking to the inside of Grant Enfinger in a battle to get in the top 5.
Yeah, he's definitely stout, you know, and to be able to get in that car with no practice laps. And then besides that, after they had that car set up for the conditions of the afternoon and be able to handle like it does at nighttime, the way it cuts underneath Grant there, that's pretty big.
The battle for the 8th spot on the racetrack right now. That's your pole sitter, actually. Josh Richards in that 25 car. He's been falling back just a little bit, and Matt Lofton in the 97 car.
Yeah, Josh surprised me a little bit. I thought he'd be up more towards the front all night. They must be fighting some kind of handling problems. They're just not quite doing what he wants.
You know, he told me yesterday, he said, you know what, I've been following this Dartfish program, which overlays video from one car to another, and he's been able to analyze that and see what he was doing wrong. And honestly, he said he was just diving into the corner down to the apex in the center of the corner just way too soon.
Yeah, the longer you can keep these cars out before you get them down to the bottom of the racetrack, the more speed you're able to carry through the center. And that's something that's different at the faster tracks with the heavier cars, that he doesn't have to worry about it with his dirt car.
Up front, Chad Hockenbrough is your leader. Stout run for him this evening here at Chicagoland, this 1.5-mile super speedway. The battle for 7th. Here comes Josh Richards on the inside of Grant Enfinger, and you can see Enfinger's car just bouncing over those bumps in turn number 3 there, and he said he's had a problem with that part of the racetrack all weekend long.
Yeah, but he's able to drive around it pretty good because they've had pretty much speed all day long, but it looks like Josh has got his stuff working a little better now, and he's able to march back up towards there a little bit.
And Josh Richards, as you noted earlier in the program, he's actually going to go and run some NASCAR Camping World Truck Series races in just about a month. For Kyle Busch Motorsports, he'll make his debut at Kentucky Speedway.
And I think he's got like 13 or 14 races, something like that, scheduled. So, I mean, you know, you're talking over half the season there. That's a good schedule of races.
Speaking of this car right here, the 36 machine, Enfinger on the racetrack, currently running 8th. In the last 2 years here in ARCA competition, he's actually finished 2nd and 3rd. So talking about somebody that knows how to get the job done, Enfinger certainly does at this racetrack.
Yeah, and Grant was running the car that he was basically the crew chief on. I mean, he took care of it. He's one that did most all the work on it. He knows what to do to these cars. See Ty here coming up underneath Chad. Ty's continuing his march towards the front.
And that's a battle for the 4th spot right now. Chad McCumbee had it, but no more. Here comes Ty Dillon on the move after a pit stop, looking pretty stout around this racetrack. And whoo, look at that. Wow. The 55 car, trouble for Hal Martin. He's been up front. It appears he's got a left front flat tire.
Left front tire's down. That will sure make him not want to turn when you go in there. He did a good job of keeping it off the wall. It used up all the real estate, but stopped short of hitting the wall. So if we don't catch a yellow here, he'll probably lose a lap, but still, it's a lot better than losing the car.
I tell you what, he's had some tough luck in ARCA competition this year. Just one race after another on the restrictor plates, and now here at Chicagoland Speedway, because a lot of people thought he was a guy that could challenge Ty Dillon for the victory here tonight.
Yeah, that car they thought was going to be the strongest of the Venturini cars, some of the people thought.
The battle for 2nd brewing on the racetrack. Chris Buescher has it. Ty Dillon wants it. Ty Dillon continues his march to the front. You see that yellow stripe on his back bumper. I tell you what, he may be a rookie, but he is very smart behind the wheel. As I mentioned earlier, 8 starts in ARCA, 4 victories. He's batting .500. That's a good average.
Yes, it very is. Definitely is. And just passing Chris Buescher there, Chris has done a good job also. I mean, we've got so much good, promising young talent in this series right now.
Really interesting how Ty Dillon actually completed that pass too, because he just dove into the corner, and then that car rode up the racetrack. He was able to catch it and pass Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
Benny Chastain right now in the 75 car, running in the 20th spot, carrying our onboard camera around this racetrack.
Benny, very interesting story about when he started racing, at what age. I mean, he was in the early 60s, late 50s when he decided he wanted to become a race car driver.
But he's not the oldest guy in the field. James Harvey Hilton is the oldest guy in the field. This guy, one of the youngest. Chad Hockenbrough is your leader here at Chicagoland.
Today.
27 laps to go here at Chicagoland for the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150. The 58 car, Chad Hockenbrough. He is your leader. A Legends car, Hot Shot, that jumped right to ARCA, looking for his very best finish. He had a ninth a couple weeks ago at New Jersey Motorsports Park, but right now he is being chased by the 41 of young Ty Dillon, just 19 years old, and he's looking for another victory here. It would be his third on the season here in ARCA.
Well, according to our scoring monitors, right now they're running real close to the same speed. One lap, 58 will be a little bit faster than Ty. Next lap reverse. So it's going to take a little while to run him down.
How about this? Just handed a note here. The average age of the top three in this race currently 18 and a half years old.
If it's okay with you, I'm personally going to tear that one up myself.
We're taking a look at battle on the racetrack. Chris Buescher, he's in third. Chad McCumbee in fourth. And here comes Josh Richards. He's coming back into the fold as well. He looks like he's got a better race car in the second part of this race. Battle for eighth on the racetrack, the 52 of Tom Hessert, the guy that competed for the championship last year, has had a difficult start to the season, especially after a 37th at Daytona, battling with Andrew Ranger.
Yeah, you know, and I've obviously got a little interest in both those cars and picked Andrew as my spotlight driver for the race. But, you know, they're both working their way up, not where they want to be, but they're still solid, and we got enough laps left to make something happen. You know,
Hessert in that 52, talked to him yesterday. He said, you know, it's so tough to go to Daytona, finish 37th. You create such a hole for the season. How do you overcome that, Schrader?
Well, you just gotta make it up. You gotta put some strong finishes together. One thing is, though, it's only a 19 race season. It's not like a 36 race season like the Cup Series or something where you have all that much more opportunity.
Rod Klepper, you got more on the 52?
Well, I remember Tom Hessert from back in his open wheel days chasing USAC Sprint and Midget Silver Crown points back in the late 90s and early 2000s. He told me yesterday they were very tight in practice. To qualify, they loosened it up quite a bit, and they were a little loose. He thought that they would be pretty good in the race. It's cooler here, a little bit greener racetrack with all that rain we had, and good to see Hessert trying to have a good run here at Chicago.
Hessert digging deep, and I'll tell you what, this is a good battle right here between he and Andrew Ranger. They're battling for the 8th spot, the 52 and the 53. Hessert in the Federated Auto Parts number 52.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing anymore, the way the guys run the suspension. You see both those cars there. As these tracks get a little bit rougher, it's just not a smooth ride. Those things just kind of bounce around all over the place. And every time those cars move around a little bit, you're losing grip. You're losing and gaining grip, and it really makes these things difficult to drive.
And honestly, a lot more rubber built up on this racetrack than we expected here, because this race was supposed to be run before the NASCAR Nationwide race. And, of course, they ran here today. Justin Allgaier was the victor, and now they're building up even more rubber. So this racetrack really getting rubbered in right now.
Oh, yeah, and that will usually make the cars tighter and tighter.
The battle for third, Josh Richards continues moving towards the front. He's almost on the back bumper of Chris Buescher, but Chris Buescher has honestly been really strong here. He's a guy that David Reagan picked a few years ago to develop, and he's talked to Jack Roush and made him a development driver in the Roush Fenway stables, and he's another guy that comes out of the Legends cars.
Yeah, well, and just like David Reagan did. And David, very little time in full-bodied race cars out of the Legends before he was an ARCA winner.
Just 20 laps to go. Chad Hockenbrough looking for his first ever victory. In fact, his first ever top 5 finish here in ARCA. We're in the Windy City tonight on speed at Chicagoland Speedway. A 150-miler for the ARCA Racing Series, and that man, the teenager, Chad Hockenbrough, owns the lead. And a pretty good lead right now over Ty Dillon as they continue to be toe-to-toe as far as times on this racetrack on the score sheet.
Yeah, they're staying right there. Now, I know that with 19 laps to go, it's a long way. Something could happen. But I'd like to go back and remember when everybody pitted, because I think there's some guys that could get in trouble on fuel here.
Hockenbrough, one of those guys that pitted a little bit earlier. Hockenbrough started 30th here tonight and has really turned a lot of heads around this racetrack.
I know that team, like some of the other teams out there, is actively pursuing some more sponsorship to be able to continue to run, and they have done an excellent job.
Take a look at that march through the field. Lap 17, he was already 12th from that 30th spot, and he took the lead on lap 49. Hockenbrough is your leader. Just behind him is Ty Dillon in that 41 machine, and he's looked really stout. I tell you what, I'd love to see a competition between the two of those guys because I think they have the best cars on the racetrack. A yellow flag maybe late in this race would certainly build up some suspense right here, Klepper.
And guys, I spoke with crew chief Rob Torrey on the 58, your leader. The word down here is they are not going to pit. I said, no pit. He said, nope, we're staying out. We're going for the win.
Oh, trouble. He blows a right front tire. Hockenbrough hard into the wall.
They're going to pit.
They certainly are. A tough break for the 58 machine and that driver. Chad Hockenbrough looks so good here, and you saw that. The tire erupted and ripped open that right front fender on that machine. He's already got that car parked on pit road. Klepper?
Well, guys, we talked about the week for the 58 team after they had trouble unloading it a week ago. Gets out front, struggles in qualifying, electrical problems. It's just been a crazy week for the number 58 going for his first win here at Chicago. He was very fast on the racetrack, telling the crew this thing feels pretty good, and then problems. So these guys up on the wall hill are awaiting him. They're going to check out the damage when he gets in to the pit area and try and get him back out, but just not the way he wanted to end it as he was hauling the mail out in front.
Yeah, that might have knocked the fuel pump off, so when he tried to restart it there, it had an under the hood fire.
Fifth caution of the day. Just 15 laps remaining in this race, setting up a barn burner of a finish for the ARCA Racing Series. But let's take a look exactly where that tire blew.
You can tell it. It blew right. Everything's good. Everything's good. And whoop, you can tell because there's just that tire is just so much pressure on it. And when it blows there, it's like a hand grenade goes off underneath the right front corner of that car.
Hard hit into the wall, too. You can see it right there. Look at all the debris strewn up around the racetrack.
Yes, but he ran into that safer barrier, and I can tell you for a fact how much nicer that is.
Tough break for that team right there. They have been working so hard to try to finish in the top 5 after being fastest in practice. Look at the disappointment on the team right there. You've been on pit road. You've been a driver as well. What is he going through right now in his mind?
Well, he's terribly, terribly disappointed. You just gotta remind him how good a job they were doing, how much speed they had, and they will get over it.
Hockenbrough's misfortune is this guy's fortune. Ty Dillon is your new leader, Jim Tradle.
We could not speak with Chad. If he stops on the racetrack or on pit road, he had to take the ambulance ride, but you saw his face. This kid was pumped up yesterday about how fast this car was. What a roller coaster, guys, as he's up and down in this car. Kevin Reed has a very vital part in this team now. He was with Venturini Motorsports, who's been an awesome mile-and-a-half track. He's now the team manager, and unfortunately for these guys, that car was ready to go, a rocket ship to the end, and Chad Hockenbrough, another heartbreak here in the ARCA Racing Series.
Ty Dillon is your new leader. You look at Hockenbrough's car sat on pit road after a little fire under the hood after he blew a tire and hit the wall hard here at Chicagoland. A big day yesterday for the series leader here in the ARCA REMAX Series, Ty Dillon, 18 years old, graduating from high school at Forsyth Country Day School in Louisville, North Carolina.
I graduated high school yesterday and flew up here today, and I didn't really get to do what regular high schools get to do. After graduation, my guys put a party together for me, and I really love these guys, love everybody at RCR, and for them to do this for me is really cool. And I guess I got in a food fight. Now I got to take a shower, do something, and get ready and put this car on the pole and go win this race today.
And this is what the party looked like earlier today at Chicagoland. A big greeting from his RCR team. Then he tries to whack the piñata, and actually just before this, he missed on 2 different attempts. He gets it there, and then he gets the big cake. The first slice he cuts for himself. He cuts out the tie right there, and then bam! That's how he got that cream on the face here at Chicagoland.
Congratulations, Ty!
What a weekend for young Ty Dillon, and I think he might still be trying to wipe that cream out of his ear, even though he's got a helmet on in that race car.
Yeah, his ear mold stuck in it. That's for sure. But you know, we saw that stat earlier where the average age were 18 and a half. Man, it just says about the series and how much good talent we have in this country right now. I mean, these kids are running on 1.5-mile speedways and running really good. There's no telling what the future is for these guys. I mean, it's very bright.
Hockenbrough, a heartache for him here tonight. Just pure disappointment as he blew a tire and hit the wall while leading this race to bring out this most current caution with just 12 laps to go now. Ty Dillon, your leader, that 17 car. Just behind him, Chris Buescher is in second. Josh Richards in the 25 is up to third. Andrew Ranger is fourth. And actually rounding out the top 5 right now. How about this? A guy that Jim Trado talked about at the top of the broadcast, the number 3 car, Brent Prevac.
Chad McCumbee right up there in 6th. Mr. Hesser 7th.
That's one of my buddies there too, the 34 of Darrell Basham. There's the 3 car of Prevac. Got a lot more racing action to come here at Chicagoland Speedway. We're going to have a big dance for the win here. Just 12 laps to go at Chicagoland. Next Saturday, one of the greatest racing events in the world returns to speed. The 24 Hours of Le Mans. To win it, it takes more than skill. You must have strategy, endurance, and luck. So don't miss the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Live coverage begins next Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Speed. A great race today at Watkins Glen, the 6 hours there as well, and we were watching that during our rain delay here. A fantastic show there in the upstate part of New York.
We received 1 to go when they went by the last time, so we'll be coming to the green. And Ty Dillon and Chris Buescher both last pitted on lap 38. So they've caught a couple of yellows, but they're going to be using up all their fuel to make this.
The Aaron's Lucky Dog recipient for the 2nd time this evening, Marie-Eve DeVoe. The fine lady trying to break into the stock car ranks here, 11th in points coming into this race. She's hanging strong right now in the 7th spot. You see the 55 of Hal Martin. He's gotten back out on the racetrack after a tough break a little bit early on. The 36, that's Grant Enfinger. He's hanging strong as well. Ty Dillon will lead the field to green, going after his 3rd victory of the season in that RCR number 41 car. But Chris Buescher, he may have something to say about it.
It'll be interesting, and that's for sure. When we come down, it'll be 10 laps to go, and there's no holding back.
Standing on the gas is Ty Dillon, but check this out. 2nd place right now, Chris Buescher and Josh Richards. Both of those guys going for broke. 3rd place, Andrew Ranger trying to hang tough as well. Can anybody catch and take down that 41 machine?
Well, I think right now it's going to be Chris Buescher. If he would be the one with the best chance. But, you know, they might have kept adjusting on Josh's car and got it where he wants now. Everybody's going to show it. They're not holding back at all.
McCumbee to the inside in a battle for the 4th spot. McCumbee trying to get by Andrew Ranger. Josh Richards also looking to the inside and outside of 2nd place running Chris Buescher. The battle for 4th right there, Andrew Ranger, Chad McCumbee side by side. McCumbee's been strong all night long, and here comes King Kimmel.
What a surprise. We're towards the end of the race, and Frank's entering the picture.
Kimmel, 8 top 10 finishes in 10 starts here at Chicagoland, including that lone victory. Kimmel looking pretty good, but you know what? Kimmel has not won in nearly 3 years, Jim Trado, in ARCA competition.
September of 08 on the dirt track, and I believe right now he's looking for his 6th top 5 finish here at Chicagoland in 11 races. Frank pitted the last caution.
97 car explodes a tire. That's Matt Lofton, who is running in the top 10. He's trying to hold on to it, but boom! Into the wall he goes once again.
Caught the 96 car there, too.
And the caution flies for the 6th time tonight. Tough break for Lofton, who is running so strong in the top 10 here.
He actually pitted with Frank Kimmel, and they made their way to 6th and 7th. So with fresh tires, he may have run something over on the racetrack, and that's strutmasters.com Chevy. A great run by the Mooresville, North Carolina racer. He crept in the top 10. They rolled the dice, came down pit road just under the last caution to get 4 tires. So it was not an issue of a worn tire for Matt Lofton.
He's got damage on both sides of that race car. Let's take a look at what happened to Matt Lofton on the racetrack. No blown tire. Oh, man. He also got hit by Bear. And then watch here right now. He's trying to hang on to the car. Slams the wall, so trouble for the 97 machine. The caution flies once again. The sparks fly in there, and you're just hopeless at that point.
Yeah, I don't quite understand this hit, because he should have been going slow enough then that it should have never went up track. But that was a little bit weird there.
Maybe lost the brakes?
Still should have been going slow enough. It wasn't rolling real smooth because he didn't have 4 tires that were all rolling, but that was a little bit unusual there.
Resnowicki in that 96 car also involved, kind of collided with the 97 car of Lofton, and that's how that all began. And then Lofton with that big lick there in the middle of the corner. Resnowicki was running in the top 12 as well. We're under caution once again, but I tell you what, when we go back racing, it's going to be a dynamite dash for the cash here. Just 6 laps to go here at Chicagoland. Next Saturday, the ARCA Racing Series takes on the Tricky Triangle, and you can only see it on Speed. Watch NASCAR's Future Stars Trade Paint in Pocono next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Speed. And let me tell you something, having been to the Pocono Triangle so many times, a lot of mysterious stuff happens there.
Oh, yeah. It's just, you go down these straightaways that take forever, and then you're terrified when you get to turn. It's like, who put this turn at the end of this straightaway? Why did they go down Talladega's back straightaway and put Martinsville's turn? But that's what it looks like. But very unique track, very much fun to drive.
And always produces some great racing action for ARCA. You see right there, that's Bear Resnowicki. He's on pit road. A lot of damage to the right side of that race car. He was involved in that incident with the 97 of Matt Lofton to bring out this caution.
Yeah, he kind of got innocently caught up, and he was doing a good job. But, you know, all he can do is hope to just ride around and finish this thing now.
Resnowicki actually running in the 12th spot at the time of that caution. But up front, it's Ty Dillon, the 17 car of Chris Boucher. The Roush Fenway project is in the 2nd spot right now, Rob Klepper.
Well, guys, it's really cool to see the 17 of Chris Boucher running in that 2nd spot. Why? I just spoke with the Gary Rula crew chief on the Ford entry, the driver out of Prosper, Texas. First time at a 1.5 mile super speedway. They're kind of talking him around this racetrack, talking about the draft, how to pass, how to run this racetrack, as it's a lot different than anything he's run before. Then you go back to Josh Richards, Kid Rocket, running right behind him, making his first ARCA start here in 2011. Their dirt tracker, the World of Outlaw 2-time champion. Early in the race, he was working on entering the corner. He was entering a little bit little and pushing up into the middle and get a little tight. So Billy Venturini was telling him, hey, go in a little bit higher, get a little dirt tracking, put it up on the cushion. And then, of course, your leader, Chad McCumbee, out of Supply, North Carolina, doing a great job as well. A lot of young guns up here tonight. Jim Trado.
Just an update on Frank Kimmel in the Ansel Menards Ford. He's up to the 5th position. I was just starting to say he's looking for his 6th top 5. He's looking for that first win, Bob Dillner, as you talked about. September of 08 on the dirt, the last time Frank won. He nearly won at Toledo this year. Top 10s every race, and that 44 machine is in the hunt again. They came down and pitted on the last caution. They were ready to go to the end. They pitted on lap 43, and they were confident with what they had, but they want to get a little bit better. Behind him, the 53 of Andrew Ranger. That's the road course kid that Kenny Schrader was talking about. He's not been on this size racetrack since 2008 in the Nationwide Series for a couple of sneezes. This is an impressive run. Harry Norcross is the crew chief. They changed left side tires only the first pit stop. And back on lap 53 or so, they came in and changed 2 right side tires. So he's got 2 rights that are newer than the left, but they didn't change 4 all night, and they're good to go to the end as well. So Andrew Ranger, great job in that 53 machine.
Grant Enfinger runs 7th right now. He's been in the top 10 all race long. Right behind him, Tom Hessert in that Federated Auto Parts number 52, looking to gather a top 10 finish here tonight. Just behind Hessert, Brevac actually in the 9th spot, and Mariev DeVoe actually moving up in that 12 machine into the top 10 right now. We mentioned Enfinger in the 36 car. Well, that's a family-owned team, the Allgaier Motorsports team. And earlier on this evening in the NASCAR Nationwide race, Carl Edwards runs out of fuel. And then there goes the 31 car of Justin Allgaier. But what happens to him?
He runs out of fuel, too, so they coast across the line, and they had enough distance on third that they were able to finish 1-2. That was Justin's 2nd win in his 88th start.
I'll tell you what, he had to walk to victory lane, but you know what? That's a darn good walk. Green flag again. We just have 3 laps remaining. It'll be a dynamite finish here. Actually, 2 laps to go. A green-white checker finish here in Chicagoland.
This is when it's down to business, boys.
Great start by Ty Dillon. He gets the jump on Chris Buescher. Here comes Andrew Ranger and Frank Kimmel battling for the 5th spot. The 53 and the 44, the best action on the racetrack.
Now, remember, ARCA does green-white checkers as many as they need. So we just got to finish 1 more lap here, and it sure looks like Ty's in pretty good shape.
The white flag is in the air, side by side between Chad McCumbee and Andrew Ranger. Frank Kimmel and Grant Enfinger working his way into the mix, as is Tom Hessert on the last lap of this race. Oh, Ranger hits the wall coming out of 2.
And Grant got into it just a little bit also.
But nobody is going to stop Ty Dillon. Chris Buescher tries in the middle of 3 and 4. Ty Dillon will win in the Windy City for his 3rd victory on the season. Ty Dillon beats Chris Buescher. Josh Richards with a fine run, his best ever in ARCA competition. Chad McCumbee in 4th, and Andrew Ranger winds up rounding out the top 5 even after beating the right side of that race car off of turn 2 on the last lap. You could hear the jubilation down there in the Ty Dillon pits. A big victory for him here tonight. His 2nd win on a 1.5-mile racetrack.
Well, that's 2 wins for the Childress Camp Day. We heard Richard won his race, too.
And I'm sure we'll hear more about that on Speed Center tomorrow, Jim Trado.
And guys, your winning crew chief, Scott Nassett, all smiles down here in the pits, man. Another great job by the kid, Ty Dillon. 3rd win of the year, bud.
Unbelievable. I can't say enough how proud I am of Ty. Graduation present, birthday present for me. Great for everybody. Want to thank everybody back at the shop, Fab Shop, Body Hangers, Engine Shop, VCR Engines are the greatest. RCR, Richard, Judy, thank you very much. Mike and Tina, I wish you were here. I want to thank my mom and dad and my new fiancée, Stephanie, for being here tonight, too. Thank you.
You've seen a lot of drivers in stock car racing. What do you think of Ty Dillon being just 19 years old?
He's pretty darn amazing. He's pretty darn good.
Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Scott Nassett, winning crew chief with Ty Dillon.
Rob Klepper with the interview right there. Ty Dillon, he's really smoked up the cockpit on that race car. He wants to get out of there just so he can breathe.
I'll tell you what, all the kids like the burnouts, that's for sure. I still don't understand them, but they like the burnouts.
The fans love it too here today at the Chicagoland Speedway. Ty Dillon with his 3rd victory on the season. A big wave of the checkered flag to the crowd here, and a great crowd at Chicagoland Speedway for the double between the ARCA Racing Series as well as the NASCAR Nationwide Series. He'll climb back into that vehicle and drive that brand new vehicle, the maiden voyage for that car, into victory lane here at Chicagoland. To be 19 years old and just graduated high school. Unbelievable. The day after he does so, he drives to victory lane and does donuts on the front stretch here at Chicagoland. On June 24th, Speed presents the greatest collector car event in the world. Barrett-Jackson. See the finest, rarest, and most desirable cars on the planet, all in one place and all up for grabs. Barrett-Jackson, Orange County. Watch the auction beginning on June 24th, exclusively on Speed. You going to buy a car, Schrader?
No, but I like watching other people buy.
So do I. One of my favorite shows, certainly, on Speed. Right now, celebrating in victory lane is Ty Dillon, but we're going to take a look at some of the finishers here. Ty Dillon with a great race here tonight. His third victory on the season. Chris Boucher, second place. Josh Richards winds up in the third spot.
What a celebration for this young man on a special weekend. Ty Dillon, the RCR Chevrolet, getting a hug with crew chief Flash, Scott Nassett. He talked about a birthday gift. What a run you had. How does it feel to win your third ARCA race of 2011, Ty?
This is awesome. This is really special for me. Came out of graduation yesterday, flew up here last night. Didn't get to practice the car at all. I got to thank Scott Wimmer a lot. This car was awesome. These guys did an awesome job. I knew it'd be fast when we unloaded. And we just had to stay patient. We had, after that pit stop, I don't know what happened. We got really, really loose, and I told them we weren't going to be able to win the race like this, and everybody stayed calm. We fixed everything and came back through there, and the race came to us, and we stayed patient, and I'm so happy. This RCR 41 Chevy with that ECR power, it was awesome.
I asked Flash before the race, how many new cars did you build with Ty in mind here in ARCA? He said just this one. It certainly worked for you tonight.
Yeah, I'm in love with this car now. We struggled with it at Michigan, but I'm in love with it now.
He tested in Michigan. He wins here at Chicagoland. Ty Dillon, his third win of 2011. He's now 5 for 8 in ARCA competition.
Schrader, take a look at that interview there. He's getting used to winning here in ARCA, isn't he?
Yeah, he is very much so. But, you know, this Chicagoland racetrack's not getting used to having the same winner because this is the 11th different winner in 11 ARCA races here.
Pretty darn impressive. Now, Schrader, I want you to take a look at this as we look at the results for the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 150. 19 years old for Ty Dillon, 18 for Chris Boucher. Josh Richards, all of 23 years old.
Yeah, and Chad, he's the elder statesman at 26, you know.
Andrew Ranger in the 5th spot. Mary-Eve Defoe, what a good run for her today. Her first top 10 in ARCA competition.
That's what she was looking for at the start of the evening.
James Hilton winds up 19th. Take a look at Hal Martin. He ran up front all day long, had some trouble late in the race, lost a couple of laps, and Sean Cord, despite spinning twice, finishes 13th. Tom Birdie, he was one of the recipients of the Aaron's Lucky Dog. He finishes 21st, and Bobby Gerhart in the 22nd spot.
Kyle Fowler, one of our dominant cars, but didn't make it to the end.
Chris Boucher winds up second here tonight, and he is with our Rob Klepper.
And guys, Chris Boucher finishing second for the second time this year. You started off the year at Daytona with a second place finish, but first time on a mile-and-a-half super speedway. What do you think of this place, man?
It's a lot of fun. You know, I really enjoyed it. The couple tests we did leading up to this race. It's a fun track. It's fast, and being that this is kind of the home track for the Rulo brothers around here. I mean, we're just 45 minutes up the road. It's a place where we ran really good at. I mean, I was a little nervous after practice. I won't lie to you, but really came around there in the race.
How about the battle with Ty Dillon, the 41 there at the late stages of the race?
Yeah, you know, I don't really know what happened to the 58. Obviously, you hate it for him. But being up there with Ty Dillon, you know you're in good company, and it was tough. I mean, we needed just a little bit more to get up to him there. It's you know, it's a tough race. They're good. I got ahead to them, and you know, we were just as good. I mean, this car was fast. Got a little tight there in the later stages, but we were able to keep with them pretty decent anyway.
That's Chris Boucher, guys, comes home second. Jim Trado, you got third.
Absolutely. Josh Richards started at the point. I'm sure you wanted to end there, Josh, but a real good run in third. Tell us about your run.
Yeah, we started, actually, we knew the track was going to change, you know, when the lights came on and everything. We were definitely really free early. I just had to run the top just to try to keep up as much as possible. We made some changes there and got definitely a lot better. You know, that's the first time I've ever ran the top, really, of an asphalt track. So, you know, I got a lot of experience, got to race these guys and got to, you know, feel the air and everything a little bit. Came home with third place finish. The Venturini guys did an awesome job. Kentucky Fuel Corporation, Joy Mining Machinery, Texas Corral, you know, it was a good night for us.
Talk about the emotions of knowing that you've got a Truck Series future ahead of you and what you had to accomplish today running all 100 laps.
That was the main thing. You know, we've run really well at these races before. We just never could finish. So, you know, my goal coming in here, we had a really good race car. You know, sit on the pole, come out in third. You know, obviously, I think we could have, you know, run second if I really knew what I was doing. You know, Ty Dillon did an awesome job, so we'll take it.
Looking forward to seeing this young man back in an ARCA Racing Series car at Michigan, guys.
Josh Richards riding the outside groove in dirt track lingo. That would be riding the cushion.
Riding the cushion, and he's got a lot of laps doing that.
Chad McCumbee also with a very good run here tonight, Klepper.
Yeah, he finished in the 4th spot, and your best finish ever here at Chicagoland. I think 29th and 33rd. We don't want to talk about that, but how was the car here tonight, bud?
It was really good. You know, we've struggled for raw speed all weekend, but Wayne Carroll, the crew chief, and all the guys, they worked so hard on this thing, and they weren't the least bit concerned that we were going to be good on a long run, and we were. I mean, our mod space Ford was, I felt, a race-winning contender on especially the first green flag run, and we adjusted on a little bit there at the end, and we just needed laps. Them short runs was not what our car wanted, and but I tell you what, 2 top 5s in a row, that's big for our Andy Belmont racing team, and we've got a great group of guys. I can't say enough for how the chemistry we got going at ABR, and thanks to folks in Mod Space, it's really exciting to have a sponsor that's so involved in what we do. So another one, so we'll go to Pocono. That's a good place for me, and hopefully get another one, maybe a few spots better this time.
Chad McCumbee finishes 4th, moves from 5th to 3rd in the points. Jim Trado?
He won his first ARCA race ever and his only start in this series. Last race at New Jersey on a road course. You'd expect Andrew Rager to do well there, but great run for you, Andrew. Top 5 run. Talk us through how that pit strategy paid off for you. 2 tires and 2 more at the end.
Exactly. You know, we try a different strategy with 2 tires in the first couple laps, and after this we changed a second tire to the end. But really happy for Bolograph. Number 53 did a really good job this afternoon, and really happy. You know what, I can ask more than that. You know, our first race in ARCA, I won the last 2 weeks, and now we finish in top 5. You know, it's something great for us.
How different is it for you as a road racing specialist to make the adjustment here to 1.5 miles on the speed you're carrying in the corners here at Chicago?
It's tough. Seriously, it's tough because we came here to practice 3 weeks ago, but we test the car, we test on the big track like that, and I'm really happy to be here. You know, it's great, fantastic for our team to finish in top 5 like that.
Fenders are still on it. You're going to run some more ovals this year with us?
Yeah, we tried to do the corn on the dirt race, and I raced dirt modified, sprint car a little bit in Granby, Quebec, but we tried to do that race, yeah.
At 24 years of age, Andrew Ranger certainly had a great run tonight, finishing 5th.
I'll tell you what, Jim, that's what the exciting thing about ARCA is. They also run dirt, but there is Ty Dillon in victory lane, and there is him grabbing the checkered flag and celebrating his 3rd victory of the year. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Messina Wildlife Management. Stop animal damage with Messina Wildlife Management. And by Aaron's. You don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. We have concluded this race. Ty Dillon is the winner. Tom Hessert winds up 6th, and he's with Rob.
Well, guys, in 2010, Tom Hessert started 13th, finished 7th. This year, start 12th, finish 6th. Are we happy with that?
Yeah, from where we were yesterday with the Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet, it's made a lot of gains. Really struggled yesterday in practice and a little bit today in qualifying. We had a really good car. Had a little bit of an issue with our second set of tires, but all in all, a really solid day for the team.
4th top 10 of the year for Tom Hessert. Let's go to Jim.
And his 9th top 10 in 11 races at Chicagoland for Frank Kimmel, but you didn't seem to be too happy with that.
No, you lose 2 spots right at the end of the race on the last lap. Really frustrating. We had a top 5 car, we felt like, at the end, and I was going to go for 3rd or 2nd or 3rd or 4th, I thought, but 53 got to the outside of me, made a great move, just couldn't get there. But Ansel Menard's Ford Fusion was pretty good today, and had a top 10 car, ended up top 10 again.
Indeed, his 6th straight top 10 finish to start the season, guys.
Not too shabby for Frank Kimmel, just 49 years young, the 9-time champion.
What he's really going to be unhappy with is the 6 in front of him. The oldest one was 26.
Ty Dillon now extends his point lead over Frank Kimmel by just a little bit. Chad McCumbee looking very strong in the 3rd spot. He moves up a couple of positions. So a very exciting race here tonight, and I think we're starting to see a future superstar here for the NASCAR ranks being bred right here in ARCA.
Yeah, definitely. Ty Dillon is showing that he's got everything it takes to keep going. But there's a whole group of those young guys that are really showing a lot of talent out there right now.
Speaking of the young guys, Josh Richards, very impressive tonight.
Very, very impressive. And knowing that he's going to go into the Kyle Busch Motorsports truck, that's going to really give him a shot to accomplish more.
2 more races in the next 2 weeks for the ARCA Racing Series here on Speed. We'll be at the Pocono Triangle next week, and then Michigan the week thereafter. What a race we had here tonight at Chicagoland. Lots of emotion for everybody, a lot of activity on pit road. We had a blast on Speed. For Ken Schrader, Jim Trado, and Rob Klepper, I'm Bob Dillner. We'll see you next week at Pocono.